Welcome back to Sports Dump, Lewis County's only sports podcast. We're sponsored by Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery, Goebel Septic, and Americool Heating and Cooling. I'm local man Aaron Van Tile, joined by the Chronicle Sports crew, Dylan Wilhelm, Zach Martin, and Kody Kristen. And before we do anything else, we need to check back in on our Week 2 grid picks. And I've got a link to click here with a sound effect that explains it.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Disagree.
Who put that in there?
Let's see. Dylan went 9-6. Zach went 10-5. I went 11-4. Kody went 11-4.
Yeah.
Ridley, who, as we explained last week, has seen 1 week worth of football in her life in Washington, went 10-5.
She's from Georgia, though. She knows ball.
She does know ball.
SEC.
And Chad's definite custom picks that he made himself went 7-8. So on the season, I am leading the way at 20-8. How do you losers feel?
Who's in second place, buddy?
You and Ridley? Mm-hmm. Really bodes well for
Climbing.
the rest, everybody else here.
You know where I was last week? Dead last. That's you see how fast I'm climbing the ranks here?
Yeah, you'll be still in second place in no time.
Centralia, please beat Foster. Please.
We'll get into that.
That will put me above Aaron, I think.
Before we get into anything else, were there any week one overreactions you guys had that were, changed a little bit in week 2?
I was quiet all of last week, so I had none. Remember?
Yeah, you were absent.
You weren't here, Zach.
Because an oil change should not take 50 minutes. That's
Zachary
why.
doesn't know how to change oil in a vehicle.
Every time Zach enters a room, you just know you're going to learn something weird. Today, it didn't even happen when he entered the room. It happened when Dylan explained to Kody and I that he has Zach's location on his phone.
I was like, that's pretty cute.
It's like, that's... Anyway.
Zach, you're wearing a John Deere hat right now. I would think you know how to change oil in a car.
Yeah,
it's the John Deere Classic.
Yeah.
It's a golf tournament.
Yeah, it's a golf tournament. I don't know how to change my own oil, but I think I'm going to learn.
You need to get a John Deere. Nothing runs like them.
I'm not sitting in a drive-through oil change for 50 minutes ever again.
Drive-through
when they're
oil
trying
change?
to sell me stuff,
That's cool.
and they're like, "We don't work on commission." It's like, sell your stick to someone else. Annoyed.
Yeah, that's just like Les Schwab.
This was last week, by the way.
You go for an oil
Still
change, they
fired
tell
up.
you need new brakes, man.
I'm annoyed.
If any oil changing companies want to sign on as a sponsor,
God, this would be perfect.
this would be great. Anyway,
I like the place I go to, but no free pub here.
yeah, no free ads. Unless it's for Foster's, Cody's grandpa's favorite beer.
Yes.
We're going to start with the 2As.
God, my dad's going to love that.
Week 2 of the prep football season. WF West and Tumwater continued their early dominance. WF West beat 3A Capital 21-13. Gage Brumfield was once again the star with 3 touchdowns, 2 of them on the ground. For the second game in a row, the defense was outstanding, allowing under 200 passing yards and completed just 17 throws and what is this?
Capital completed 17 throws and 30. I typed
Capital was
wrong.
17 of 38.
Right.
What's that question you asked again earlier that we didn't really answer? You said, what were our misconceptions that we kind of dialed down this week?
Yeah,
I think that was probably one of them.
What overreactions did you have in week 1 that in week 2 you're like, okay, like this is actually okay?
Like we weren't shocked that WF West beat Capital this week when we were pretty shocked about their win over a bigger school last week.
And I would say, like, on Alaska, week 1, there was maybe a little bit of a little too highly touted, and then in week 2, it turns out they're okay.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Meanwhile, Napavine. Is Josh Fay on the hot seat? We'll get there.
Josh Fay. Job security is about a C- right now for Josh Fay.
Yeah, Schutz is, got the job announcement all lined up. You just got to hit publish on it any minute now.
Unacceptable.
Get back to the 2As. Tumwater mollywopped. God damn it, Zach. Bainbridge 56-6. The
You're
same
welcome.
score.
That's some Midwest talk right there.
Puyallup. T-Buds mollywop Bainbridge.
It's like that Shane Gillis song.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Here comes the pitch. Oh, home run.
Oh.
Damn.
Peyton Davis bulldozed his way to 115 yards and a touchdown. Cash Short scored twice. Cash Short only has 1 cell phone, Kody. Is that?
That's an
Tumwater
unfortunate name.
Tumwater had 7 rushing touchdowns. Their special teams blocked 2 punts. Mekhi Richardson and Micah Cedarberg had those. So between WF West and Tumwater, which one has been the most impressive to start the season? I mean, they're both 2-0. They're both good. They both beat higher classification teams.
I would say probably Tumwater, just because like
Yeah, just by the
Not
sheer.
just
just by the margin.
How dumb. Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like because they're absolutely rolling people, and it's like their final scores are like 60-0, but it was 52-0 at the end of the first
halftime,
half.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they get another 4A opponent this week on a short week. They're going up to Sammamish to play Eastlake out of the
That's probably
4A
a decent
Kingco.
team.
They've been absolutely destroying people, and their varsity's probably played 3 total quarters. So
All right. Meanwhile, Black Hills lost to Eatonville 20-0 on Thursday, and Centralia lost an overtime heartbreaker to RA Long on Friday. Zach was at Tiger Stadium.
I watched it from the parking lot at the end.
Cody was in the parking lot.
Cody called me as it got into overtime. And
I was
he
on my way back from Winlock, and I was like, hey, I saw it's going into overtime. I might be able to make it to shoot the end of it because I'm a little slightly more talented with a camera than Zachary is.
Big facts.
So I was like, I'm going to see if I can make it. I found a spot in the parking lot, locked my car, got my stuff on. I started running, and then I watched the ending of like the RA Long kids celebrating, and it felt like the end scene in the Friday Night Lights movie with the sad music playing.
And so you just turned around and
I went back to the office. Yeah, what was I going to take pictures of?
yeah, that's a tough break for Centralia. You know, anytime you get to overtime, you hope the home guys can pull it out like that. But yeah, Zach, what did you see there?
It was in talking with Dylan from last year's season opener against Elma. It seemed very similar, and John Rookledge agreed. Season opener against Elma last year, low scoring, went into overtime. Centralia ended up losing, and very similar to last week. Centralia played very well defensively, kept RA Long off the scoreboard for the entire second half up until that overtime possession. Kicked a tying 23-yard field goal, tied at 15. And then just kind of they just could not move the ball passing wise offensively. Got some good running from Kellen Rookledge, and then quarterback Terrell Sanders had a couple really good quarterback draws, but their counters would not go for long yardage, and it was a very sloppy game penalty wise for both sides. A lot of pre-snap penalties, first 4 plays were all penalties, so very sloppy. Centralia played that game very well. Just unfortunate that RA Long scores first in overtime, and you have a 4th and 2, and you give it to Rookledge, who's been your best ball carrier, and he just gets stuffed less than a yard short of the first down to continue on. So it's unfortunate, but they played, for most part, they played well that game.
Okay, cool. So between Black Hills and Centralia, who is most likely to bounce back in week 3? Who's Black Hills got? Montesano?
Montesano.
Say that.
I think Centralia is
0-2
more likely to.
I think
Montesano?
Montesano's 0-2.
Yeah, they're 0-2.
Interesting.
They lost to Richfield last week, and then I can't remember who they
I
lost
think
to
they
in
lost
week
to
1.
Center.
La Center, week 1.
They
Yeah.
got crushed by the Center.
Oh, wow.
I think Centralia bounces back,
I think Centralia's got
Against
the better
Foster?
odds of the
Yeah,
two.
against Foster.
Okay.
who's also 0-2.
I think I trust Black Hills more long term though, just because of at quarterback.
It's true.
Okay, moving on to the 1As. Tenino and Rochester both lost on some gut-wrenching fourth quarter plays. The Beavers were down 35-12 against Kalama, and they rallied to make it a one-score game and recovered an onside kick in the fourth quarter with a chance to win. But then quarterback Mason Metcalf threw an interception and sealed the contest 38-35 for Kalama.
Why can't the
Tough
games I go
break.
to end like that? Sounds like actually exciting.
Yeah. Rochester, meanwhile, gave up a Hail Mary with 80 seconds left in the fourth quarter against Castle Rock. They lost 20-14. Rochester is winless. Tenino was 1-0. What's the panic meter for these two Evergreen teams? Are you guys smashing the panic button, or maybe just like things are going to be okay? Cody is not.
A little concerned with Rochester. Panic feels a little strong, so I'll cop out and say I'm just a little concerned.
We're brushing off the concern button at this point.
Tenino has actually impressed me over these first 2 weeks, so I'm not really concerned with them at all.
My stock in Tenino has not gone down 1 iota, but my stock in Rochester has gone down a little bit.
It's like looking in a mirror from this time last year, just flying high on Tenino. But yeah, they do look a lot better at this point this year than they did last year.
I think that the fact that they rallied down by that much against a good Kalama team makes me think that
Are we sure Kalama's a good team?
well, they're up to 1A now.
I mean,
They've been haven't
They
they
still have-
traditionally been good in 2B?
they were quite good in 2B.
What's their quarterback's name? He's still there. Eden Brown.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
like
okay.
he's pretty much Jackson Esri too. He's
Hey.
he's a crazy athlete. Not quite
Can't
like
just throw
Jackson
that out
Esri.
there.
You're right. I know. I tried to tackle him.
So
We were talking about Jackson Esri on the podcast a couple years ago, and Josh or Alec, one of them was like, or maybe it was Trent, I don't remember. One of them was like, yeah, Esri's hurt. He's not going to play in the next game. Like, basketball season's coming. It was basketball season starting. They're like, yeah, he's injured. He's not playing. Like 2 hours after the podcast gets uploaded, I get a DM from him on Twitter. It's like, I'm definitely playing. Your boys are wrong.
He probably dropped 30 too.
Yeah, he did. He was good.
Quick note on the Rochester game real quick. I was just small talking with a couple parents at Tenino last night, and we were talking about, the last Friday's football games, and they mentioned Rochester. And when I first heard of this Hail Mary, it was mentioned as a last-second Hail Mary. Mm-hmm. That's what I first heard someone refer to it as. And I go, oh, was it really like in the final moment, like the last seconds of the game? And he goes, well, no, there was 80 seconds left, but, wing T. And then he just left it at that, and I was like, fair enough.
Oh, so this is why I haven't heard about this yet.
It's like, all right.
You said they lost in a Hail Mary. I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. Why didn't no one tell me about
Someone
that?
said it was, I'm going to do the thing where somebody said, but that it was one of the flukiest plays they've ever seen. I don't know much more than that, but obviously it didn't go Rochester's way.
All right, moving down to the 2Bs. Dylan and Kody witnessed a blazing performance from Blaze Underhill in Onalaska's victory over PWV. Do you want me to read these like, what's his face, Chris Berman? Like the fastest 2 minutes in sports?
Good, if you want to.
Dylan and Kody witnessed a blazing performance.
You could go.
Yeah. So are you guys back on the Ani bandwagon?
Yeah,
Safe to say, yeah. At least not
No,
against.
you can't just be like, yeah, I guess. You have to be like, if you're getting on a
Yes.
bandwagon, you have to be excited about it. You have to have some compassion. Speak forcefully, either of you.
Yes.
What is the bandwagon trying to achieve?
Okay, you're off the
saying
bandwagon.
They're going back
Wait.
to the Final Four.
That's the
Is the
bandwagon?
bandwagon.
Then yes, I'm on that bandwagon.
Okay.
I might
fine.
be back on that
Um,
bandwagon too.
All right.
It just looked like Ani football. They, we talked about all these uncharacteristic mistakes week one, false starts, fumbling every other play. It seemed like illegal shifts, illegal motions, all these weird things you're not used to seeing with Onalaska. All that was out the window on Friday against PWV. I think the final score ended up being like 36-8. And that 8 for PWV was just this. They were down 20-0 coming out of half, and they get this great 7-8 minute drive to finally get on the board and get within a couple scores. And just as you think, all right, PWV's got something here, Blaze Underhill 50-yard touchdown next play. And it's like, all right, that's just kind of the day it was. And then Underhill finished with 150 plus or more rushing yards. I don't remember the exact number, 4 touchdowns, and it was never really close after that.
It's always interesting to see Ani play a team that can actually throw the ball, just because their offense and defense is so centered
Seven
around
heavy,
the run.
yeah.
And PWV could not throw the ball in this game either. I think they tried a couple times, right?
Yeah, they were
And it's
trying, but it's just nothing
it
consistent.
wasn't work. Yeah, Ani had a couple picks, which was good, but
Is Caden, if you were to compare Blaze and Caden, and this is from someone obviously that was not here last year, are they similar or are they different?
They're a little different. I'd say Caden's more of a elusive. I think he had a little bit more speed than what
yeah,
Blaze
he's more
has.
of a Blaze is more of a run through you type
Yeah.
of guy. Yeah,
Still very solid, and they
both
obviously
both effective.
Yeah, Blaze can still get through, a hole that his O-line creates for him. There's no doubt about that.
Okay.
Okay.
And then Kody went over to Winlock for some
did.
pictures and hot takes on the Cardinals uniforms. What's
Hot
wrong with their
takes.
uniforms?
I just can't get with the mustard helmets, man. They're just really
At
yellow.
least they have 2 distinct colors.
That's true, At least these
At
guys
least
got
they
their
stay-
colors figured out.
At least they
That's
got
true.
their
I
colors
think they
figured
look
out.
good.
They're
Yeah.
always the same shade and they're always the same colors. They know but I don't know. Someone said they liked them, but I just
It was
We were
me.
like, you're
it
wrong.
wasn't.
It was me.
yeah, it wasn't
Are
my.
they like,
They're not my
are they-
favorite uniforms.
Are they like mustard yellow or are they gold?
No, it was mustard yellow.
Okay.
Like
All right.
Yeah,
Like the condiment.
like the color yellow on the bottle, but slightly darker.
Like a school bus yellow.
No, that's
Like
I would say
number
that's
2 pencil
brighter.
yellow?
No,
Like
mustard.
highlighter yellow.
Like the mustard when you put it actually on something, not
Like a French mustard, like a French
No, like
mustard.
so you.
Speaking of mustard, so we'll get to mustard. Remind me on
What?
the Napavine game. We'll get to mustard. Anyway,
What?
sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Keep
No,
going.
let me finish my mustard.
Yes, that's
spiel.
why I apologize.
So there's the color that the mustard bottle is. And
Yes.
it's like normal yellow, but the mustard when it comes out is actually slightly darker.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking actual mustard yellow. That's what color these helmets were,
Okay.
with the maroon numbers It just didn't sit right with me. I thought red
As a
helmet would look a
uniform
lot
purist.
cooler. Huh?
As a uniform purist.
I never claimed to be a uniform purist.
Okay, all right.
You guys just said.
How was the
you
game?
You just said,
whole new
Cody
sentence.
didn't like their uniform, so I had to explain myself.
It's on the notes. How was the game? How'd Winlock play?
The game, when I got there, Winlock was down. I think it was. They were down like 10. It was like 34-24. And
Well, you picked them too.
I did. I was rolling with the Cardinals. Well, I had an abysmal week 1, so I had to make some picks away from the
To separate
tide
yourself,
to separate
yeah.
myself, and it worked for the most part. I would
Except
be in
Winlock.
first if my boys over in Winlock could have pulled this one out, but that's okay.
They were up by a score
They were
after
up
the first quarter.
12-7, and then I think they gave up 7 straight touchdowns.
Yeah, something that just must have fell apart then, because when I got there, they were down 10, and I was like, okay, they're still in this. It's like halfway through the third quarter, and then from that point on, I don't think they really even got any rushing yards. It's like it was all Ilwaco as soon as I got there. Maybe I was a bad luck charm for him.
Who's Ilwaco's like running back?
I couldn't tell you.
Is it Swafford? No.
I don't think so. No,
You guys know who's that kid?
I don't know.
Nobody?
I don't know.
We're not in
Please say
tune
not
to the
big on,
fishermen.
the
The
Ilwaco.
entire
No, Winlocks, I mean, sorry.
Oh, Cuson. James.
Yeah.
Oh,
James
yeah,
Cuson.
okay.
Cuson,
Yeah. Sorry, that was
Houston,
on
yeah.
me. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
and
a
he
big
was
boy.
like any gain or play they had on defense, it was always him making it too. He was like,
It-
I don't want to say one man show, but he definitely stood out.
It's
above the
basically him
crowd
and
over
their
there.
quarterback Landon Klein that's
Yeah.
their entire offense.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a
Landon
big
Klein,
dude.
too.
All right, what else do we got? Adna posted a shutout. They played
Clay Elam.
Clay
Cleveland
Roslyn.
Roslyn
Yeah.
up north. Good win for them.
Yeah, Bo Miller
I'm
was.
sure
Bo
we
Miller
didn't hear
was
anything.
fantastic.
Athlete of the
How
week, Bo
fantastic.
Miller.
Athlete, 15 carries, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then on defense, a sack, an interception, and a defensive touchdown.
Pretty good.
They'll
Not
play.
bad.
Oh, it's not a bad day at the office.
All right, so where's your panic meter at on Adna? Anybody?
I'll know.
1-1.
Same with Tenino. I will know after they play this week
Because they play each other.
I know. That's why I said that, Zach.
Weird.
Because I kind of have I feel like I kind of have a feeling how Tenino's going to do, and I kind of have a feeling how Adna's going to do. So I'm just interested to see if that turns out how I think it's going to.
Okay, and then Rainier beat Raymond South Bend.
It's like
Interesting.
43-32.
Chad
It
was the only one
shootout.
that correctly picked that game. 41-32.
I was a little surprised by
That's
that one.
good.
But I honestly don't know if that one means that Rainier is better than I thought, or RSB is just worse than I
RSB
thought.
barely beat Mossy, and Mossy got down to inside the 10 with like 2 seconds left. Is that what Eric told you?
Yeah, and then they couldn't get a snap off before time expired, but
Yeah.
they were right
Oh,
there,
damn.
about to beat RSB.
Damn.
Okay. Morton White Pass and Toledo both remain undefeated. Who'd Morton White Pass beat?
White Swan,
Yeah.
50 to
Oh,
26.
They were on the
Wasn't
road, weren't
close.
they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were. That was an early start. That was a 6 p.m. start.
Actually, I lied. It was close. It was excuse me. I just remembered actually. It was 26-26 late in the third. And then they ended the game with 24 straight points. I kind of had the same reaction when I was on the phone with Lee. I was like, "Oh, so you guys handled it pretty through and through?" And he was like, "Well, not quite. You know, they were handling things early, and then just kind of one of those you get complacent a little bit." And a lot of times you see teams get complacent a little bit, and then it just goes the other way. So he was proud that they were actually able to, you know, kind of lock in, for lack of a better term, after kind of allowing them to get back in it. So it ended up being a blowout, but I just kind of reminded myself live on the pod that actually it was kind of close there for a bit.
All right. And Toledo.
beat
Still
Goldendale
perfect. They beat Goldendale.
26-13. It was actually Goldendale. I put up a trick play and was kind of running all over Toledo's defense at first quarter, and then they kind of settled into their base, and then Carter Swafford picked up a long touchdown run, and then Eli Weeks hit Trevin Gale for a 60-plus yard touchdown pass, and then Toledo kind of settled in from there and not coasted, but just kind of had firm control of that game from second quarter onward.
All right.
Goldendale's usually they're a pretty consistent like playoff team.
Yeah.
In the final 8. So
And Mossy Rock still looking for their first win. They lost they were at Warden, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
33-14, Warden 1, I believe, was the final.
All right. So are we worried about Mossy Rock? They're, moving up a classification.
Yeah,
I
I think
a little bit worried, but rightfully so, just because like you said, they moved up classification. It's gonna
Playing
gonna be some
11-man
growing
football
pains.
again.
I think
Yeah.
Easton Cobb's going to be good enough to win them a few games almost on his own.
Yeah.
Even in this game where the offense as a whole wasn't super consistent. He had 150 passing yards, 100-ish rushing yards against worse teams. That's going to play and probably get them a couple wins at
They
least.
definitely point out a couple wins on their schedule of teams they will be playing.
Yeah.
All right, and the
Not gonna do that
Saturday
right now, that would be mean. But
the Saturday game at historic Stadium High School in Tacoma, Napavine lost to Life Christian Academy. Life Christian's 1A now, aren't they?
They
Yes.
are.
Aaron, 10 things you hate about Life Christian. Go.
Well, I mean, private schools in general, I'm not a fan.
Right.
I hate the way I don't hate it at all. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No way. He's just pulled out.
Okay, so go back to the mustard.
Whoa.
So the mustard.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people are probably going to know this. I did not for whatever reason. I forgot who it was. Somebody on Napavine went down with a cramp. And somebody from the Napavine sideline took out this yellow bottle, and I was like, surely that's not mustard. And it was. Apparently, mustard helps to relieve cramps. So they got this kid on the field laying down while they're stretching out his calf, chugging mustard
Mustard
and
and
chugging pickle juice on the field.
I've heard
I've
about
heard
pickle
pickle
juice.
juice.
And I was
I've
like,
heard pickle
I'd
juice,
heard the
but not
pickle-
mustard.
It's the vinegar, I
But
think.
they took the
Yeah.
straight bottle of mustard, and I was like, oh, all right, you learn something new every day.
Did you get a photo of
Vinegar
it?
relaxes the
I
muscles
was
so they
kind
can
of
uncramp.
enamored. And there was a bunch of people around him. But in terms of the actual game, Faye afterwards, he was like, obviously I hate losing, but I'll take that any day of the week. They're down 13-0 at half. They come out firing offensively. Everything just started to click. Wilson found an all downfield a couple times. Colin Shields on a long touchdown. They were really starting to work off this almost RPO-like offense because they were kind of just pounding the rock the first half. And Life Christian just started going blow for blow. It turned into a bit of a shootout. Napavine took a lead at one point. Life Christian took a lead. With about 30 seconds left, Napavine was actually up 28-27. And the Life Christian quarterback, I don't know his name, heck of an athlete though. He rolls out, and do you guys remember the Richard Sherman tip in the end zone, that NFC Championship? It was basically that, but instead of a defender tipping it to another defender, it was a Life Christian receiver tipping it to another Life Christian receiver. It was a pretty poor route combo. I don't know if that was the play call or if one of them just kind of freelanced, but they were both kind of just freelance. They were just kind of in the corner of the end zone together. And one guy tried to Odell it because he didn't know his buddy was right back there. And he just
tried to
tipped
be
it
the
up and
hero.
caught it.
Gotcha.
And Napavine almost got a similar, tip drill Hail Mary at the end. Denal actually got his hand on a ball, but a second Life Christian defender came over and knocked it down to end the game. That'll probably be Napavine's test all year, is what one of their assistants was saying on the sideline. And you could tell Faye, obviously disappointed that it didn't come out that way, but you could tell he was proud of their effort. And
Well, he's probably sad he's going to have to move now.
it did look better than they did against who they get crushed by last year. Was it Linden?
Linden Christian.
one I-
Lyndon
Yeah.
Christian, yeah.
So
Did you ask Faye if he'd seen 10 Things I Hate About You
I did
recently?
not ask.
You should have asked him. Lighten the
I
mood a little
did
bit.
Google, or I looked up on YouTube during halftime. I was just kind of I pulled up the scene with where he sings on the stairs and stuff, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's cool. There it is.
Yeah, Julia Stiles
Good
was right
stuff.
over there. Awesome.
Yeah.
The Joker was right there. Yeah, that movie's sick. All right. I know if I would have been covering it, I would have tracked down all the kids and been like, "Hey, have you seen the movie?" And they'd be like, "Go away."
I've been watching Dexter recently, and it came up that the one where Julia Stiles is the main guest star the whole season, and I was just like, I know you.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the 1Bs. Oakville beat North Beach 34-24 for its first win. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Go Acorns.
Go Corns, baby.
Oakville is not on. Oh, yeah. They've got. That was last week's. Never mind.
Who
Yeah,
got
they
this
were
week?
playing at home. Did they play all their home games at Oakville?
Yeah.
I don't think North
On the
River.
grid picks this week. Wait a minute.
I don't believe North River has a football field.
They should be on the grid.
Oh, they're
pick.
0-R now. Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
they're
right.
O&R because Oakville, North River. They played well. Gio Rodas, Daniel Rodas. Usually their story offensively. North Beach got a fumble recovery or an interception. It was a turnover, and Lewis Kozer had a touchdown saving tackle, and then they got a stop on the goal line, and then proceeded to have a scoring drive that put the game away.
Good for Oakville.
Okay.
Who do they play next week?
Chi.
You just have
Chief
this thing
Leshai,
up?
I think.
I had last week's up. I
Oh,
don't know
okay.
where this week's is.
Oh, sorry.
I'll pull it up
It's,
later.
the one that says week 3 tab next to the week 2 tab.
Yeah, they've been copied and placed in the document.
Oh.
So they're not there.
My mistake. Should have told me that before we started. I wouldn't have
idiot
embarrassed you
notes,
like that.
All right.
Someone does not read the notes.
Yeah.
You.
That would be me. Yeah.
If you're having
I don't need 'em.
diarrhea of the mouth and perhaps other places, you need Goebel Septic,
Whoa.
like
But,
Kody just was there. Goebel Septic provides septic
you missed with that
service
one, buddy.
and portable
No,
sanitation.
He didn't, but you didn't know because you didn't see the ad read coming up because you're not in the notes.
Yeah. Thurston County, Lewis County, Mason County, Cowlitz County, Grays Harbor County. Goebel Septic provides septic pumping inspection and riser installation,
Hello, mouth diarrhea.
commercial septic pumping, grease trap services, porta potty rentals, portable sink rentals. Visit goebelseptic.com or give them a call 360-736-2167.
Call up Goebel if your septic needs inspecting. They'll be there.
Nice.
Yeah, that was good. That was
you.
pretty
Yeah.
good.
Good job, Kody.
Thank you.
Podcast veteran there.
Cody's got a lot of podcasts under his belt. All
starting.
right. It's time for your guys' week 2 takeaways, overreactions. We already did this a little bit, but let's just get one big take from each of you guys before we move on to volleyball.
Overreactions?
Overreactions, underrated. Just one big takeaway. One thing you learned this week that maybe you haven't mentioned yet.
I might be worried about the 1A, about the totality of the 1A Evergreen League. I don't know if it's an overreaction, but I feel like I don't know if it's as strong as I thought it was.
Well,
coming
Montesano,
into-
it's a good take. Montesano 0-2. Rochester, what are they? 0-2?
0-2.
2. Tonight on 1-1. Elma is 1-1.
I don't know their record, but they're also down their D3, their quarterback who went D3 from last year. So
But Elma's
that's a
I think Elma's
bridge.
1-1 because they beat Centralia, and I
Yeah.
think they lost week 2. And then who's the 5th team in that league? The center.
That's not Eatonville anymore. Hoquiam.
Hoquiam, and I think Hoquiam's 0-2. So I don't know if the 1A Evergreen League is as strong as I thought it would be coming into this season.
Okay, good take. Dylan, you got a take? Are you going to have a hot take about whether the C2BL North or South is better?
I'm still memorizing those divisions.
Just
I guess
remember, Ilwaco is in the North.
the first thing that came to mind is that
Inexplicably.
I don't know if we'll get 4 D4 teams to the Final Four and 2B. Last year, I think it was just the 2.
I think Okanagan's going to be in the Final Four.
yeah,
Are they still, they're
regardless.
still 2B, right? They didn't
Yeah,
move up.
Okanagan's
yeah.
still 2B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you look at Toledo, Ani, and Napavine, it wouldn't shock me. I mean, I know Zach's hot take was that, or Zach's
It's hot
was
take.
that Toledo was going to beat Napavine.
My stock is still strong in that one.
Okay,
So
that'll
that
be
wouldn't shock
that'll be
me.
good. Okay, I'm in for that hot take. I don't agree, but
That's
I'm
fair.
in.
I'm here for it,
I'm
though,
in.
yeah.
It's a good take. It's a good take to have. Cody, do you have a take from week 2?
It's not really a hot take, but I guess a takeaway would just be similar to when Napavine lost to Linden Christian last year, is that they're just not indestructible. Like
Yeah.
they're like, because going into last year, that was kind of what we thought, and then that was kind of eye opening. And like, had that game not happened, I never would have thought they could have lost to Okanagan in the championship. So I guess similarly this year, it just kind of was like, okay, so they're beatable. They're not totally out of everyone's league.
I like from a coaching standpoint and a motivational standpoint, I don't think a week 2 loss to a 1A team is necessarily the worst thing in the world either,
No,
which is what
yeah.
they had last year too.
He
Right
kind of
around
mentioned.
there.
He kind of Faye kind of mentioned that too. He's like, both teams are going to be better
Yeah.
for this game, and
Yeah.
kind of another. I'll kind of backdoor another take in here. Tumwater and Napavine, I still believe are our best chances, or are the two teams that have the best chance to get back to Husky Stadium of the 16 schools we cover.
They could very well get Tumwater, Napavine, and Yelm again.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Moving on to volleyball, where the season is ramping up for our local schools. Dylan has seen these schools since our last episode: Centralia, Napavine, Tumwater, and Mossy Rock versus Onalaska. Any hot takes out of those?
I'll start with Napavine, which lost a lot of talent from last year. Kira O'Neill was all-area MVP. Dakota Hamilton, Grace Gall. They have some girls back. Emily Kang, Jessie McCoy, Kennedy Purvis saw time at the varsity level last year, but they just have a lot of just a lot of talent to replace. And they're a pretty experienced group. Like when you look at the grade levels, they're not like an Onalaska, who I'll kind of get to here in a minute, where it's just like a bunch of young girls. But when you think about how much senior talent they've lost over the last year or so, they're just not super experienced. And that's something Monica Daly said too. And the match I saw against Kalama, They were down 2-0, and they were able to battle back to tie the game at 2 before ultimately losing in 5. Daly kind of noted that, there's going to be some growing pains, and this is kind of what happens when you have a team that's still gaining experience at the varsity level, that you're going to have these long spurts where it's going to look the way it should, and it's going to look a lot like it did last year. For a large stretch of the season, one of the better teams in the state, a team that's going to contend, if not only for a state berth, but a team that could compete at state. But there's also going to be those times where those first couple sets where it's going to look, rough around the edges, especially when you think back to what we saw at this time last year. Any thoughts on Napavine before I start jumping around again?
I do not have any thoughts on
All
Napavine volleyball. No.
I'll jump to Mossy Ani. On Alaska, I have high hopes for Alaska. Maybe not this year, but the year after and the year after that. This is a team that has 3 sophomores and 6 freshmen.
So you're buying a lot of stock in Alaska volleyball.
I am.
Okay.
Because they were, obviously they were excellent analysis. They were young last year. They're still young this year. And I kind of...
Hey, can that be true?
If you ask Susan Gordon, no. So Susan Gordon, the coach, I kind of approached it as like, all right, well, they went 5 against Mossy, who 2B, 1B, doesn't matter. Mossy's one of the best, has been one of the better teams in the state at whatever classification they're in. And I kind of just said, like, how much growth have you seen from this time last year? And she was basically saying, like, yeah, we've grown, we're young, but it doesn't really matter anymore. Like, these girls have kind of gone through their... Like, how many times are you going to say, oh, we'll learn from this, Like, just kind of overdoing that just because they did it so often last year. So to not come away with that match against Mossy, I could tell they were really disappointed, even though it was a non-league game. And the way they played against Mossy, which, like I said, is one of the better teams in the state, should make state again. It just really impressed me. And it kind of, like you said, I'm buying stock.
All right. Who are some of their up-and-coming players that are, poised to have spots on the All-League team or anything like that?
Emily Jacoby was All-Area as an 8th grader last year. Braylon Babb, I believe is her name, is the setter. I apologize if I misremember that. Leah Hamilton's on that team. She's really solid. But yeah, I would say Jacoby to lead the way, and then they just have a lot of really good, rotational pieces and a lot of good contributors.
Okay. I'm looking for. And Zach, you got to catch up with Toledo and Black Hills volleyball. Thoughts?
Toledo, very young. Shocker. They got hit hard to graduation last year. It was Kelly Larson's had a junior heavy team her first year. Then they were obviously seniors a year ago, her second year, and now it's kind of restarting. They're going to go through some growing pains. I don't know if they'll make the district tournament, but they could maybe string together some wins if they play some carefree volleyball and kind of come in with a nothing to lose mindset. But I think kind of like Ani, they should be better next year, and in 2 years they should be better. Black Hills, I actually got to Black Hills right at the end of it, so I didn't see much of their match against Montesano. Montesano swept them pretty handily. First year head coach Kendra Dunn, she's just trying to get some consistency in their system, in their 6-2, and they served the ball really well. Had just one service error. Just couldn't get anything going at the net, and service was pretty decent as well. That's a team that lost the all-area MVP or the all EVCO MVP in Ashley Harris, and then two other stars on that team that placed at state last year. So they're going to go through some growing pains. They could probably still make the district tournament, but I think anything past that will be a bonus.
All right. In the EVCO, Tumwater's 4-0, and everybody else has exactly 1 win. Is Tumwater good?
Tumwater's still pretty good, yeah.
Okay. In the 1A Evergreen, Tenino missed 3 starters and beat WF West in 5 sets to move to 2-1. Rochester is still trying to figure things out. Tenino good?
Sure.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
We haven't seen them yet. I've seen Rochester. We both have seen Rochester once. First year head coach Courtney Baird. She's they've got a freshman setter, but most of the girls are back from last year. I think the freshman setter Charlie Culp is still trying to fully figure out how to run the offense. And I think once they get into league play, I think they'll be a little more competitive. I think we're kind of seeing that gap between Evco and Evergreen, kind of how for Rochester, in playing these non-league games against their former league rivals, and kind of seeing the gap. So I think they'll be fine once they get into consistent 1A Evergreen play.
All right. In the 2Bs, Adna, Mossy and Rainier are still perfect with league games starting this week, within the week, next week.
Yeah, within
soon.
the next week.
Within
Yeah,
the next week. Yeah.
If you guys were placing bets, who would you place to be the C2BL champion? Adna, Mossy Rainier, or other?
Adna.
Okay.
Rainier will give them a fight. I'm looking forward to their league matchup. But
why Adna? They got so many returners. They've got Hallam
They
and
have every returner.
Hallam,
all of them?
Humphrey,
Yeah, they're all
guard, everyone except
Pressure.
Carissa
pressure?
Shearman, I believe.
yeah,
Shireman.
Get it?
Shearman.
yeah, they're gonna be they're my pick to win 2B state volleyball.
Oh, okay.
That was his lock.
That was my remember you
No.
had
Zachary Locke.
That was his
Zach's
lock.
lead
was my-
pipe lock.
that was my lead pipe lock for the fall. Is that they're gonna win 2B softball?
Don't remember that.
That's fine.
No, that was weeks ago? Last week?
It was 2 weeks.
I don't
ago.
remember what I had for dinner yesterday.
that's
I don't blame
weeks
you
ago.
for
All right, moving
much
on
stuff
to the 1Bs. PL beat Washington State School for the Deaf in 3 sets to open 1B Columbia Valley action. Good for PL. Good start.
At 23 aces.
All right. Wow. All right, moving on to soccer now for some quick hitters. Zach saw WF West and Centralia's home openers. Who do you have in the Chronicle Cup?
This is not the Chronicle Cup. We need to you want to elaborate
who
on
do
that?
you have in the Chronicle? What do you mean?
Like they play twice a year, and we're only doing the second game counts as the Chronicle Cup this year.
I thought it was like a series.
still
No,
finalizing.
yeah,
There's
we're
talk
that shit-
amongst the coaches.
Shit hit the fan with that 2 years in a row. So
Yeah, we're cut.
That's kind of the fun of it, though.
Yeah, but last year with girls, it came down to what? A PK shoot. It came down to what? A PK shootout.
So 2 years ago, it came down to a PK shootout, and last year it came down to the absence of a PK shootout, which was a talking point.
And then with boys, Centralia won the last game, but WF West won the Chronicle Cup, so we had to give the trophy to WF West as Centralia's in the background celebrating. WF West
Celebrating a golden goal winner.
a golden goal overtime win, and WF West is pissed that they lost. So it's like I'm talking with Noel and talking with the other coaches. They're like, if we do it to one game, I think it's better, and if it's a second league game, then there's actually more at stake. So.
it's winner take all, second game.
I mean, that's kind of what makes the Chronicle Cup. That's the most interesting part of the Chronicle Cup is that there's always such controversy around who gets the goddamn trophy.
I'm not trying to have controversy around high school soccer, Aaron. Like,
Yeah,
why not?
Aaron, I took too many photos of WF West soccer players looking sad as hell with the Chronicle Cup trophy in their hands
honestly,
last year.
I had to hand it to them all, and they're just sad. It's like I'm not trying to do that.
They're just like, oh, cool. It was like when they gave their second place trophy to
Anyway.
the Bad News Bears.
Yeah.
Back on track. It's going to be. I hate to say, it, but it might go to a PK shootout again this year for girls. It's probably 2 of the best goalies in the area. Even with the graduation of Stacia Fluch for WF West, I was very impressed with Charlie Nelson in their opener against Woodland, and then Bailey
Braley Blankenship.
She basically kept them in a game against River Ridge with some really good second half saves. So it's going to be, I think whoever scores first will win that game. And if it goes to a PK shootout, it's whichever goalie is better in the shootout. That's kind of my early thoughts on those two.
Okay. Dylan got his first look at Tenino and on Alaska, a match the Beavers won 5-0.
Yeah, Tenino, pretty good. They kind of started a little slow, but Callie Mickelson,
Coming off she had a hat trick last week?
she had a hat trick last night as well. She's kind of an early in the mix for all-area MVP, the all-area team for sure. They also did a good job shutting down Kaya Sandridge, who herself also had 2 hat tricks, I believe, last week, or the last 2 games before that, or 2 of 3, something like that. But yeah, once Tenino kind of just got that first one, it kind of just became a snowball effect. They had all the momentum. Kyla Watson scored. Paisley Garcia scored from like 25 yards out. They just started ripping shots from outside the 18, and I'd say about half of them went in, which is probably a pretty good percentage. But yeah, they host WF West Thursday, so that'll be a fun one and a good barometer for them.
The Schultz Bowl.
Yeah.
It will be the Schultz Bowl.
All right. And then Tumwater and WFest each have 2 wins. The T-Birds also have 2 draws. What? Christ. Okay. Somebody tell me about those things.
They drew with a couple 4A programs. Skyview, I knew they drew with, and then I think Union, they drew.
I can't help but laugh when you say they drew with somebody. I know that's
How are you
technically
supposed to say it?
correct.
Yeah.
No, it's technically correct. Just,
Did they draw it, Aaron?
drew with them.
They drawed.
They played them to a draw. They drew.
Can't we just say tied, guys?
Yeah, they tied. Cody's correct.
Yeah, someone's.
All right.
Knows
Black
how to talk
Hills
here.
is 1-1-1. Centralia does not have a win. Any highlights between either of them?
Outside of Blankenship, I think the offense for Centralia's got to get moving if they want to piece together some wins.
Okay. Rochester, do you want to apologize for almost spelling the name wrong?
You can't even think of the name.
What wrong?
Gruginski?
Oh, Gruginski.
Thank you. Rochester has been unlucky in letting up late goals and sits at 0-2-1. Do we have any good news in soccer?
Rochester and Centralia play tomorrow, so one of them's going to win.
And Rochester Toledo
Hey.
plays today, and I'll be heading down there after we're done recording.
Okay.
Actually, it's soccer. One of them does not have to win. Never mind. I take that
Yeah,
back.
you were just talking about how many teams drew each other. Adna lost to 4A Yelm 4-2 on Tuesday. Toledo is tied for the most wins in the C2BL with 3.
Adna kind of did this last year where they lost to some higher classification
Yeah.
schools
Why are they
earlier.
playing
than they skipped.
They hosted Yelm. I think
crazy.
they played in Adna.
Oh my God, those young girls probably showed up like, what the hell?
What, do you,
I'm kidding.
act like Yelm is
I'm
not like a
kidding.
metropolis.
No, I know. Yelm is like, I was actually
It is a
surprised.
4A school.
Yeah, I was actually surprised Yelm was 4A.
Yeah.
Bumped up.
Bedroom community. Toledo, how do they look?
First year head coach, Horst, I can't pronounce
Horst
his-
Malunat, who
Yes.
coached at Toledo for like 30 years.
I guess he's back.
Yeah, this is his first year back. He coached.
He helped with the boys team last spring.
Yeah, he's coached a ton of soccer around here. Coached Toledo for a while. He coached Toledo Winlock boys. He coached, I think he coached at like Clark College, maybe. But yeah, Horst he's been around. Good
Gotcha.
soccer coach.
Yeah, I'll be able to meet him and chat with him for the first time
Nice guy.
tonight when they play Rochester.
Okay, how you guys doing for furniture?
Pretty similar to last week.
Yeah.
You haven't been to Elam's Home Furnishings and Sleep Center then, I see. They're locally owned, family owned, and here to stay. And if you guys
Did you
need,
throw any chairs across the room and break them after that Apple Cup, Dylan?
I did not.
yeah, you guys all went, we'll get to that in a minute. If you need to outfit your living room, bedroom, dining room, entertainment room, or maybe, maybe you're Kody and those are all the same room. Visit Elam's Home Furnishings and Sleep Center at 1430
Cody's going to buy a tiny house soon. So he's
South
there.
Gold
yeah,
Street.
Yeah, and you're not going to be invited. You're going to come to my tiny house and be like, hey, buddy, what's up?
Hey,
I'm
buddy.
going to say, get off my lawn.
Sounds like your tiny house wouldn't have space. 1530 South Gold Street in Centralia. Visit elamshf.com. Let's get back to the Apple Cup. You guys all went.
We did.
Yep.
Cody and I covered it, and Dylan was in section 310 with his.
I didn't really cover it. I took photos of it.
Your photos were good.
Yeah, no, I didn't say. I didn't say I took bad photos. I just said I wasn't really covering it.
You had a media pass. You covered it.
On
Yes.
the field.
I was there with the media.
You
correct.
actually got photos in for the newspaper. And
Oh yeah, I guess I did cover it.
good
I
time.
forgot about that.
You sent me some photos. I was like, hell yeah. Cody,
I didn't
did
cover it for the paper. I covered it for Washington State's 24/7 site. Had a couple stories, a man on the street story,
Doing some moonlighting, eh?
and then a feature on Josh Meredith, who had a breakout game for the Cougs. Very good game. Very, very fun to watch. Well,
Neither team deserved to win.
Well, Dylan, as a UW alumnus, how do you feel?
It was good because it was so ugly on both sides. What play call was worse? Not giving it to Marshawn Lynch in the Super Bowl or a speed option to the short side of the field with Will Rogers?
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You're just salty.
But
The worst call of all time.
and then Jedfish sticking with the call.
Okay.
no, you can't commit 16 penalties and win a game.
What was that thing you texted us about? You were going to spit on a coach.
No.
Whoa!
No.
Whoa!
Are you going to say it or do I just need to read it?
It
have
was
to give the people
I'll say it.
context
It was-
now.
I'll say it. Fish backed up the call and was like, "That was our gotta have it play," and I joked along the lines of like, oh, I'm going to go disrespect a coach and say that's the best we could do reporting wise, and that'd be the same thing.
Yeah. When Jed Fish gets fired, do you think some like snarky columnist is going to make a fish tossed joke in Seattle?
I definitely
How could
see,
you not?
I definitely see Mike Varell doing that, in
one's-
his first Seattle
That's
Times
on the back
column.
burner. They're just waiting.
100% when he gets the Florida job, and then chokes at that too.
They've got that gun loaded.
All right, quick recap on some other sports. In tennis, WFS beat Centralia in the first Swamp Cut match 4-2. Zach was there. Give us a quick highlight.
Javen Hahn had to come back down 4-1 and 5-2 in the second set, number one singles, to win 7-5 for the sweep. That basically clinched it for WF West. Won in all swept singles and then won at number 3 doubles. Centralia won at number 1 and number 2 doubles with the brothers. They have the Corwin brothers and the Young brothers.
Okay. In golf, it looks to be a 3-team race between WFS, Black Hills, and Tumwater in the EFCO.
They've all got really good golfers.
Okay.
All three of them.
In cross country, Winlock's boys won the Ocosta Invite over the weekend, and the Rainier girls and Morton White Pass boys also had some solid showings.
Rainier girls went to the Olympia Invite, Olympia XC Classic. It was breaking up into grades, so freshmen ran with freshmen and so on and so on. Madison Ingram got top 10 in the seniors. They had a freshman that won the freshman race. And then MWP went to the Sunburn Invite, and they had 4 in the top 20. They didn't have a scoring 5, but their 4 in the top 20 was on par with the 2 teams that won in Prosser and Skyview. I can't remember who won that invite. But MWP looks really good. Rainier girls look really good. Those are probably the 2 best teams in the area in the 2Bs.
What's the Sunburn Invite? Where's that at?
That was in... I can't remember.
Pasco?
No, it wasn't in Pasco. It was in It was at South Hill Park.
I could be anywhere.
I
Oh, it was somewhere on the east side.
Yeah.
I can't
It's not important. I was just curious.
No, I can't remember exactly where it was. It was a good field, though.
This podcast sponsored by Americool Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is their business. They offer full-service HVAC installation services and repair with a 100% satisfaction guarantee on everything they do. Visit west.americoolonline.com to learn more, or if you're having a heating or cooling emergency, give them a call, 360-996-5806. And finally, more grid picks. Now I have the week 3 grid picks board up. You want to run through all of them?
Yeah, we have a
Run
lot
it.
of the same answers.
Yes,
so this
we
one
do.
takes
Yeah,
super long.
we have.
We do.
very
We're all
similar
going to be
answers.
wrong about all of them then?
Probably.
Probably.
All right, number 1, Tumwater at Eastlake. Eastlake is pretty good, 4A?
1-1.
They
It
are.
doesn't
but
matter.
I'm still going to pick Tumwater.
Yeah, I'm going
Okay,
Tumwater.
everybody went Tumwater. Timberline at WF West.
WF West.
WF West.
WF West.
All right. Do you guys remember, what was the Timberline running back that was really good? Played at Oregon and then played for the Panthers.
Oh,
Stewart.
Jonathan Stewart?
Jonathan
Did you go to
Stewart.
Timberline?
Went to Timberline.
I did not know that. All
Wow.
right.
I went to watch a WF West Timberline game where he played, and he was pretty good.
All right. The more
Good.
you know.
The more you know.
Foster at Centralia. Everybody has WF West in that game. Foster at Centralia.
You're the only one picking against Centralia.
I
Why
went
do you
with
hate
Foster.
Centralia football, Aaron?
You know what? I love Centralia. I want the best for Centralia, but
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I love more than Centralia is my grid picks
Foster's.
record.
It's homecoming this week for Centralia.
Already?
Yeah, it's
Early.
early.
It's like third week of September.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very early. Ridley and I, when we went to soccer, we walked into 3 different homecoming proposals.
Cool.
So yeah,
That's
but
why I picked Centralia.
I've got Centralia. Yeah, they've got
Can't lose. You can't lose your homecoming game.
If they don't win
My high
homecoming,
school was down by 40 at halftime of one of our homecoming games.
I lost my senior year homecoming
Yeah,
game.
I
was
never-
just kidding.
How do you guys play?
I never saw a homecoming win in my high school.
Tough.
All right,
I didn't see
Montesano
anyone.
at Black Hills. You guys have all got
I
Montesano.
went
I've got
Montesano.
Black Hills.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be stunned if Black
I'll
Hills
take-
win this game.
I'm going to jump you in the first over that pick, Aaron.
We'll see. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't.
Maybe it'll-
Rochester
maybe it'll
at
sink me.
Aberdeen.
Aberdeen's really down.
This is the one I struggled with the most.
Aberdeen they got hit
Who did
hard
I pick, Aaron? I don't
to
remember.
graduation.
We all picked Rochester.
Oh, okay.
This could be the game. This could be a get right game for Rochester. Even if it's 1A versus 2A, this could be the get right game for that Rochester needs. Because I don't know. I don't think Aberdeen is that good.
Based on how the two offenses have played this year, this could be like a 12-10 final, and I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
Sounds sick.
It's good, mid-off.
It's good football.
Mossy Rock at Onalaska in the Old Brown Jug game.
What?
Oh, the Old Helmet game.
Old Brown.
Which one is the Old Brown Jug?
I think that's a different rivalry game, or maybe I just made it up.
I've
No,
heard
I'm
of
getting
that
old,
for
too.
sure. I think that rings a bell. I think that's in college football somewhere.
I think it is too. But yeah, the Old Helmet game.
I'll look it up.
The winner gets an old helmet.
Is it like spray painted gold or anything?
What
does this
No,
helmet
it's
look like,
spray painted with mustard. I hate it.
Dang it.
The Little
Crap.
Brown Jug is between Michigan and Minnesota.
That's what it is.
Well, I wonder who won that one recently. It's probably the last 10 years.
Definitely Michigan.
All right. So everybody's got Onalaska in that one.
Yeah.
Rainier at Morton White Pass.
I got MWP in this one.
Also have MWP.
I went with Rainier.
Yeah, Cody and I swerved. Went Rainier.
Oh, you picked Rainier too?
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, Cody
It's too
gonna
late to change it.
Yeah, it's already in, so you're locked in.
It's okay. He's got Foster.
Do we skip to Nino?
Because he hates Centralia.
Tenino at Adna. Everybody's got Tenino except Chad, who picked Adna on his own for sure. Are we sure Tenino's going to beat Adna? Everybody?
I'm not sure, honestly. I'm pretty
I'm
sure.
leaning that way. I'm not 100%
I'm
sure.
heavy
but
leaning that way. Like
I wouldn't
Okay.
say I'm heavy.
I'd
Like I
s-
said, I just want to see how that game turns out, but I can't afford to keep taking Adna with my grid picks. Not yet, anyways.
Not yet.
You're just putting a lot of yourself into these great picks.
They can win me back. I am, man. It's important to me.
All right.
They can still win me back.
Toledo at PWV. Everybody's got Toledo. Is that in
that's
PL
in,
or
that's
Menlo?
in Willapa.
Okay.
Menlo.
Chief Leshai at Oakville, North River. Everybody's got Leshai except Chad went North River. Thoughts there? Leshai good?
I looked at
I don't know much
I did
about
my
them.
research. Leshai had a pretty solid record last year. They
They-
throttled Oakville last year.
They
so-
didn't.
okay.
They opened the season last Saturday against Evergreen Lutheran and smashed them by 50.
I didn't
They went
realize
7-3.
to 1B.
They went 7-3 last year. I'm pretty sure. So
They were a 2B team last year, right? Or did they drop down and play
yeah,
it, man?
I think they were 2B.
Winlock at Tootle Lake. Everybody's got Tootle Lake except Chad went Winlock.
Yeah, Winlock's going to win a game. I see at least one or two winnable games on their schedule. This is not one of them.
What are the winnable games?
We'll get to those when they come.
What? Coward's way out.
That's
You
fine.
can check his grid picks when they say Winlock.
Right.
Cedar Park Christian at Napavine. Josh Vay coaching for his job.
Oh my God.
And the boys get it done. Face sticks around.
Everybody picked Napavine in this one. Napavine's going to be fine.
Yeah,
I
they're going to
don't
be.
think they have anything to worry about.
They're going to be fine.
All right. The standings. I'm in first. Cody and Ridley are 3 games back. Zach and Dylan are 4 games back, and Chad is 6 games back. What are you guys covering tonight, tomorrow, rest of the week? What's going on? Oh, we got to get to the game of the week. I almost forgot.
How could you?
The game of the week presented by Home Carpet Warehouse and Cabinets.
And cabinets.
The options for week
For over
3
2 decades.
are Timberline at WF West, Toledo at PL Willapa Valley in Menlo, Montesano at Black Hills, and Rainier at Morton White Pass. Remember, your votes can be cast on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook until 9 p.m. Thursday night. What are
That's
the
so
early,
funny.
What are the early returns looking like?
It's too close to call between Timberline,
is
WF West, and
neck
Toledo
and neck.
PWV.
Neck and neck.
I just saw on Instagram that the post said, we will post the matchups in the comments. Go like the ones you like. And a bunch of people just went in and commented the ones they
Yeah,
like.
like-
I think those votes shouldn't count.
Yeah.
They don't.
No, they don't. Including
Yes.
our
Uh-huh.
Elijah White of our
Yes.
sales department.
See, Facebook is actually following it this time. They're actually liking the comment of the game that they want.
It's good. No, so many people did that last week too, and the week before. The people just don't read the
No,
thing.
Yeah.
They don't
No,
understand.
your vote shouldn't be counted.
yeah, I agree.
They aren't. So
I agree.
All right.
it's great.
We only count them if we need to sway the results.
Do you guys-
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Do you guys have which of these games will be covered regardless, but they might not be the game? Like I imagine
WF West.
Timberline,
WF
WF
West,
West
yeah,
will be
WF West.
covered.
Might
Yeah.
not be the game of the week, but yeah, we'll cover it.
Um,
I'm gonna make the end of the helmet game just for photo opportunities. If it ends up being a good game, then that'll be good.
Yeah.
The old Brown Jug game.
The Old
We'd
Brown
been
Jug
to-
game. I gotta get.
We'd been to Ani
Old
2
Brown
weeks
Jug
in a row, so
flicks.
we couldn't put them on. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Reminder, your votes can be cast again. Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You could follow Zach on Rumble and leave votes there as well.
I don't even have
Until
Rumble.
What is
9
Rumble?
p.m. on Thursday.
Is that like Truth Social?
I'd rather have a Truth Social than a Rumble.
just start plugging my Tumblr. No,
What,
I don't have a Tumblr.
Get my Reddit. Plug my Reddit.
What do you guys cover tonight, tomorrow night?
I've got Rochester at Toledo girls soccer tonight. Tomorrow I will do the game of the week tomorrow. Sorry, I keep forgetting today's Wednesday.
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Tomorrow is Thursday. I think since I live in Auburn and it's only 45 minutes away, I think I am going to cover Tumwater at Eastlake football tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
That is tomorrow.
That is tomorrow,
That's a
yes.
Thursday night game. So I'm going to head up to Sammamish and cover that game, and then Friday I will have the game of the week, which we will finalize on Thursday.
All right, Dylan, what are you up to?
I'm going to CC volleyball here in about an hour or so on Wednesday. Tomorrow, I'm not 100% sure. That WFUS Tenino soccer game is very intriguing. There's also a couple local volleyball matches I'm still kind of deciding between.
Shouldn't tell our listeners their games aren't intriguing.
Yeah, all the games are going to be great.
Yeah, all the games are great.
Yeah,
all the
that'll be
games are
awesome.
fun.
All the games
All right.
are fun, but I'm also not going to Elma. So
Fair enough.
Cody, you got anything cool coming up?
No, just football on Friday.
Anything you want to plug? Your appearances
Tomorrow.
on News Dump, or are you
No.
back on News Dump now, or have you been?
I will be back
Wally
on News
pipped?
Dump next week. I took a hiatus there for a week
I don't know,
because
I think
I
we're-
had an assignment. I had to go do my job.
I think-
and
I think
Aaron
I-
wouldn't know what that's like.
I think I'm going to petition to have Owen on as the full-time.
Have you even
coach.
listened to it?
I did listen to it.
Well, apparently Owen Sexton took a damn class in college on podcasting. I don't know how I'm going to compete with that. I'm just in a workspace where everyone is like trained by colleges to do their job, and I'm just winging it.
You're
So,
basically in a work study on podcasting every week.
I'm getting pretty good at it. I think. I have definitely improved.
But
You know how
still,
the soundboard works?
No,
he's speaking into the mic. I don't think you've had to
yeah, I'm
remind him
speaking
once
to
today.
the mic.
Yeah, that's good. He's gotten better at that.
he has.
You've stuttered more than me this
Baby,
episode.
baby steps, baby steps. It'll be like by
Oh.
spring season, he's going to be hosting it.
No.
That would be lovely for all of us.
Assignment I'm doing tomorrow. This is news, but one of my best friends, McCade's grandpa, is being sworn in as a Centralia City Councilor, and I'll be
Oh,
I'll be
really?
shooting that. Yeah,
Is that Norm Chapman?
Norm Chapman. Yeah,
Cool.
so that's pretty cool. Love Norm.
All right. What's the sports department email account that they can reach you guys at?
Sports.
Sports at cronline.com.
You can also-
CHRonline.com.
You can also email Dylan and I individually. Good job, Cody. You can
Well,
also
thank you.
email Dylan and I individually. It's Dylan at cronline.com and then Zach at cronline.com.
And
You
if
know,
somebody
I
wants to
mean-
call and tell you guys something, what's the 360-807-8229 and 8227?
believe so.
And then Cody at Cronline if you
Yeah,
if you guys want to chat.
Really want, yeah.
if you just want to
If you want to talk photos,
That's Cody, Kody, Zach, CACH.
What's Cody? Pitch some Instagram handles that people can reach.
Instagram handles.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Instagram. What's the accounts?
It's just at the Chronicle Sports on Instagram.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Really easy to remember. Yeah.
And DMs are open.
DMs are always open. Yeah. Tag us in your stories. We love it. We love to see it. If you need to talk shit, if you need to agree with us, take it to the stories, man. I'll repost them. I love seeing it.
Yeah, Cody does love reposting.
We love to get the boys fired up.
clowning on the grid pics or whatever. So get after that. All right, thanks for listening. That's the end.
Shout out Woj.